அணுகின் கூட்டு பக்குவம் நீ, அணுவின் கூட்டு பக்குவம் நீ, உன்னில் தானவன் அவன் நீ, அவன் யார் நீ யார் பிரிவேது, அவன் யார் நீ யார் பிரிவேது, எல்லாம் வல்ல எல்லாம் வல்ல தெய்வமது எங்கும் உள்ளது நீக்கமர, அவனை மறந்தால் நீ சிறியோன், அவனை மறந்தால் நீ சிறியோன், அவனை ஆ ஆ ஆ அவனை நீ அறிந்தால் நீ பெரியோன், அவன் நீ ஒன்றாய் அறிந்த இடம், அவன் நீ ஒன்றாய் அறிந்த இடம், அறிவு முழுமை ஆத்மமுக்தி, அறிவு முழுமை அது முக்தி, அறிவு முழுமை அது முக்தி, எல்லாம் வல்ல தெய்வமது தெய்வமது ஆ ஆ ஆ. சிந்தனையை உடல் நலத்தை சீரமைத்து உய்வித்த குருவே வாழ்க. வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். Let us start our discussions for the day. Today, Dr. Devi has agreed to talk about ojas and give her presentation. Shall we straight away go to that? Dr. J.P. Ayya?
வாழ்க வளமுடன். வணக்கம் ஐயா.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Welcome ஐயா.
வணக்கம் ஐயா.
Shall we start ஐயா?
Yes ஐயா.
டாக்டர் தேவி ப்ரொசீட் பண்ணுங்க.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Am I audible?
Yes, perfectly.
ஸ்கிரீன் சரியா தெரியுதுங்களா? என்னோட ஸ்லைடு வந்திருக்கா?
வந்திருக்கு.
தேங்க்யூ. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Today, thank you, Rabi, for giving me the chance to open this session. Today, I want to give some of my thoughts based on my understanding of Maharishi's teaching of Kayakalpa, my Guru's views, and Ayurvedic views, etc. It's my sincere effort to correlate some of these things. In no way I will undermine or contradict Maharishi's valuable teachings. It's up to this forum to consider my thoughts, add, subtract, delete, reject, or accept them. So the word ojas has been given by Swamiji, but its real meaning, depth, and its contribution in Kayakalpa is not stretched much, I think. Am I correct? So that is why this.
Yes.
So
we deal with all other aspects, but not with the ojas in full.
So I'll read out most of my presentation. It is all as written notes because I don't want to miss the flow or I don't want to miss anything. And this is my Guru, Swami Satyananda Saraswati, and Maharishi, the Aliyar sister for whom I have greatest regard. And there are salutations to all the gurus, yogis, and yanis who strive tirelessly to give us this knowledge so that we can live healthy and happy. So these three slides are always put in every presentation, so that is why it's come in this also. So now, of course, we know that the third step in Kayakalpa is Ojas breathing. So today we'll see what is Ojas and the effect of Ojas breathing on physical and subtle bodies. Ayurveda is the first science that has described Ojas in detail. Ojas in Sanskrit means bigger, or bigger is vitality. And that's what we have been talking about. Dr. Shakti and Ananda have been saying we should replace the word with vitality, and Ojas means vitality. And Ojas is the subtle essence of all the vital fluids. Ayurveda and Yoga agree that it is the fluid of life. So the subtlest essence produced by the body after the Saptadhatus. So Saptadhatus are the seven formative tissues. It is sometimes known as the eighth dhatu. That means after the seventh, again you have one more dhatu, but normally it is seven. Sometimes it's called an upadhatu because upadhatu is the side or branch of another dhatu. So this is supposed to be a branch of the Shukra dhatu or the seventh dhatu. So it has, because it has come from the food, it has a physical component in it. And it has, because it is derived from the food, it's got a physical component according to Ayurveda. But it can become metaphysical also because that is where it came from. So vitality is best understood as the essential energy for the functioning of the body and mind. So Ojas is that essence which gives the tissues energy, strength, and endurance. It protects the health and the vitality of the cells. It gives, thereby influencing all the bodily functions and physiological processes. So physically, Ojas is responsible for the health, vitality, strength, immunity, longevity, emotional well-being, reproduction, and it has other things. And on a psychological level, Ayurveda says this is Ojas is responsible for the basis for bliss, joy, and happiness. And spiritual level, it can lead to self-realization and samadhi. So ordinary people may not understand this concept, but being in the spiritual lead and with Maharishi's teaching, and because of we know the three bodies, I think it is easy for us to correlate what they say, oh, this is causing this in the physical body, in the subtle body and the causal body. This is what Ojas can do. That's Ayurveda says it very beautifully. And it also says there is an Ojas personality. That is, a person who has increased levels of Ojas has a vibrant personality, dynamic, charming in nature, with attractive eyes and glowing skin. Of course, all our yogis and rishis and Maharishi's face, if you see, that is proof to that, isn't it? That they have increased Ojas in them. So now, how is Ojas formed in the body? For that, we have to know of the Saptadhatus. Of course, all of us in Maharishi's school of thing, we know about the Saptadhatus, but I have a slightly different view for it. The basis of a physical body and its function is Saptadhatus. But this is derived from the food that we eat and its nutritional content. Ayurveda and Siddha systems have described the formation of seven dhatus beautifully. The seven dhatus are known as actually they call this the formative tissues. Dhatu means the formative tissue and the basis of physical body and function, and they derive from the food. So seven dhatus are known as, of course, all of you know, I don't have to repeat, but I got a nice picture. Why I want to emphasize this picture is we only know the seven dhatus, but space after the seven dhatus, there is Ojas, which is responsible, according to Ayurveda, for immunity. But they say only immunity is yours, but it's responsible for all the other things also. So that is why I have added this diagram. Otherwise, we know all the things. And of course, we know it's Rasa means Rasa is blood, Mamsa is muscle tissue, and Maida is adipose tissue, Asti is bone tissue. Majja is bone marrow and nervous tissue together is called the Majja. Of course, we had a slightly different opinion last time about Majja and the brain, but according to Ayurveda, Majja is bone and nervous tissue. Shukra is the generating tissue on the sperm and the ovum. So Rasadhatu, that is the end product of digestion. We all know that it's just this thing. It contains all the components, all the nutrients that we have taken. It's a colorless liquid, and we may equate it to the plasma. So I don't have to, I've written the notes in a different way for the lay people or for the article, but as doctors, I don't want to go into that detail. So the rasa is except the fiber, all the other nutrients is this thing. So from that, when the cells, red blood cells and white blood cells, platelets, when they join, then it becomes the rasa dhatu. When it becomes blood, plasma plus cells, it becomes the blood and gives the red. So this contains what are all the plasma, whatever is there, is also there in the blood also. And the blood is responsible for taking it to all the other parts of the body. And Mansa, you know that muscle tissue, of course, this is for lay people. And Meda, the post tissue gives us beauty, insulation, and cell membrane formation. So this one point I want you to, I was a little this thing, because the cell membrane formation somehow is connected to Ojas, I think, because in the end, when the Ojas comes, Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev says, it forms, Ojas forms a slight covering for each cell. So whether it is the cell membrane, I don't know, but just want to mention it. And of course, we know that fat is a storehouse of energy also. And then bone, of course, we know that it is the framework and weight bearing and transmission. And this Majja already I said, it's in the nervous system also, and it is responsible for the production of RBC. And then the last one, the most controversial, is the Shukradhatu or the generative tissue. So here what they say is, a dhatu means a tissue. It is not a fluid or a secretion. See, all the other things, it was, it had a physical structure or a formative tissue. But Shukradhatu, when we say, we always equate it to the semen, which is a secretion from these tissues. So what I thought was, anatomically, Shukradhatu may be, in females it's the ovary, uterus and the tubes and all that. And in men, all the anatomical organs of testis, prostate, the vulvourethral glands, etc. And physiologically, in males, my thought this is the succulum. Or succulum means the hormones, the semen and the sperm. Whereas in female, Shronika it is called. And that is, I feel, is the female hormones, cervical and vaginal secretions and the ovum. I found the slide based on the presentation given by Shanti in the last meeting. So I thought this somehow it's okay, but it's disputable and you can give your opinion on that. So, see, I thought I have another this thing where I thought each dhatu, normally all the people, what they say is, one dhatu comes from the other dhatu. Like from rasa, rakta comes from rakta, the muscle comes from muscle, the fat comes. So like that, there is a lot of misunderstanding prevailing about the order of origin of the 7 dhatus. But somehow I believe that it's formed one after the other and not one from the other. For a long time, I held this view, but I didn't have any proof to say what it is. But luckily now, I got a proof in one of the Ayurvedic articles I saw. This is called Kedara Kulya Nyayam. That is a transportation process. So in this, you can see that the food, and from there the rasa comes, and then from there the rasa is formed, and then from there the muscle is formed next, and then the next is Meda, next is Asti, Majja, and then the Shukra. And of course, it should extend, I feel, and go. And after the Shukra, it should be the Ojas. So that is how I thought of it. And this is one evidence I got for that. That is why I'm expressing this view. So that is why I put it like this. Food rasa as rakta is as rakta to mamsa, rakta to fat, rakta to bone, rakta to marrow, rakta to shukra, and rakta to ojas. So that is all the other things are tissues. That is ojas is pure energy. And this pure energy is there along with all the things. When we see Mamsa also, there is Mamsa plus in Rakta also, there's blood and energy or the prana, when I say, or whatever vital fluid, whatever we call it, Shi or whatever it is. But from Rakta, the Mamsa and the prana, fat and prana, bone and prana, marrow and prana, Shukra and prana, and Ojas is only the pure energy, pure prana. That is how I was thinking about it. So, because the source of dhatus come from the prana shakti, we know that prana shakti or wind or whatever equivalent we can give to that, and they form the panchabhutas, and then they convert into matter and elements, and that is what gives us the seven dhatus also. So everywhere it comes, and these elements are present in the earth. Of course, the prana, we can get it directly from the breathing and from the cosmic energy through the skin also. But the other things, all the chemical things like proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, all that is in the earth only, earth element only. And of course, the earth element takes the heat from the sun, the oxygen from the air, and then it converts all that to the water element also. So it converts all the four elements and combines in various forms and forms these elements, metals and vitamins and whatever is necessary for our body's health and vitality. So this is so every food that we take contains prana along with protein, fat, carbohydrate, whatever it is. It contains prana. Because when you see the vegetables or fruits or greens, when we buy, they are so fresh and they're tempting to eat. But after 2 3 days, and when you see that they are a little body vadangiya poirukkum. You won't feel like eating them also. So what happens? They may have the same amount of calories, carbohydrates, proteins, everything may be there. But what is missing is the prana. So that is why yoga always insists on fresh food. So this is present. This prana is also present inside our blood vessels and outside every cell throughout the body. So this is the primordial life force, we call it. So of course this will change. Oh, sorry, I'm going backwards. So in the body, what happens is this matter has been formed and absorbed to send to each cell, and then it is converted back into energy necessary for our life processes. And whatever, if there is extra energy, then it is taken to our mental processes and then the spiritual processes. So that is how once the energy comes from the Prabanjam and then converted matter given to us, and the body converts it back into energy and the vitality, and it uses it for our physical health and spiritual enhancement. And when we talk about the ojas, what Ayurveda says is there are three types of ojas. One is called the para ojas, and the other is called the apara ojas. Para, you know, it means it's ultimate or superior or beyond everything. Parampurul, Parabrahman, Paramatma. So we say the para, the word is thing. So the para ojas is the ojas that is coming from the prapanjam. And they even quantified it. I don't know how and how we can prove. I don't know. It is there in Ayurveda. Para ojas is about 8 drops, they say. Ashta bindu it is called. And they say it resides in the heart, and it is responsible for the activity of the heart. Very clearly Ayurveda says that, and I was astonished. So medically, how I correlate with it was that is the energy or the chemical that gives the energy for the electrophysiological activity of the which originates from the SCA node. So that's how I felt it. Maybe I stand to be corrected. So otherwise, we all think that heart beats spontaneously lifelong due to the impulses which start from the SCA node. But maybe this Ashtabindu or the Paraojas is the cause, is the chemical basis of that. Because they say the spindle cells and the spider cells of the SCA node contains acetylcholine esterase, and noradrenaline in higher concentration than normal tissues. So that means there is a chemical basis to it also. So if this Paraojas, I want the opinion of other experts in the panel. So Upper is for the vitality of all the other cells in the body. So that means the worldly or the material. Apara means worldly or material. So its quantity is said to be Ardha Anjali. Anjali means we put our hands like this together. So that is Anjali. Ardha Anjali means it is just one finger, one hand like this. So Ardha, half the Anjali means one hand. That is one palm full of ojas is the upper ojas, and they say it is helpful for the whole function of the whole body and the vitality. So now, is the upper ojas responsible for cellular metabolism, health, repair, and regeneration, and longevity, and for all the other things like Dr. JP said, the mitochondrial function, the gene expressions, and the cell DNA repair, and all those things. Because this answers the question of Ojas and Kayakalpa as an anti-aging project. Because Kayakalpa helps to increase Ojas. But how does it do it? So till puberty, this is plainly my view. You can always dispute it or reject it. Till puberty, there is minimal or no Shukra Dhatu. So all the energy after the sixth Dhatu, it just goes into it. It becomes Ojas, and which helps in the. It is so abundant that it is responsible for the vitality and growth of the youth. So it just body is growing so rapidly in that first 12 to 14 years because the Shukra Dhatu is not formed. After the sixth Dhatu, the whole energy is becoming an ojas. So after the puberty, the sexual hormones like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone are produced, and under their influence, the semen and ovum are formed. Then the functional aspect begins. So then when the function comes, at one ejaculation, 100 to 200 million sperms are emitted. Each sperm is an individual cell and contains more than the normal energy because it has to travel and implant an ovum. And the seminal fluid is also packed with energy to enable the journey of the sperm. So a lot of energy is consumed in this process, like Dr. Ananda also has said about this. If you want to compare it, like in 1 ml, if there are 50 to 75 million sperms, such a small microscopic sperm, it has to travel 4 to 5 inches to reach the ovum. That means it has to swim 3,000 times its own length. So in relative terms, that is the same energy used up by a 6-foot man swimming about 2 kilometers. So this is the energy of the male. In the female, there is menstrual blood, which is lost. So everything starts from the blood only. And so at the origin itself, when the menstrual blood, you lose a lot of energy so that the formation of all the other dhatus and the ojas also is decreased. So that's my understanding. So in the sequential development that we saw, all at the 7th level, the extra energy is consumed and wasted so that the formation of ojas or the 8th dhatu is reduced. If this step is bypassed, that is, if there is no production or minimum production of Shukra Dhatu, the ojas quantity can be increased or regulated and youthfulness can be maintained. So Kayakalpa achieves this object through the psycho-neuro-endocrinal mechanism already described by Dr. Shanmugavelu. And in female, if this means if she doesn't get the periods, like so, if the wastage of blood is prevented by the hormonal changes, then the same or this thing that the lady also can get more ojas. So there is a third form of ojas, I said, the Shakti Rupa ojas. So which means the energy form. Shakti, you know, is energy. So Shakti form of energy, ojas. When we do Kayakalpa, the bandhas, mudras, or meditation, and the apara ojas becomes the energy form of the Shakti Rupa ojas, and becomes the aura, our aura, or the subtle body. So the aura increases, it forms a halo that we see around the Mahans, yogis, and gurus, and all the avatars. So here I want to quote Swami Shivananda Saraswati. I already said this. One of the students of Dhanvantri approached his teacher after completing his full course of Ayurveda and asked him, Bhagavan, kindly let me the secret of health now. So Dhanvantri replied, this Virya, by Virya he meant the seminal energy or the Shukra Dhatu is verily Atman. The secret of health lies in the preservation of this vital force. So that is why Brahmacharya is considered an essential part of higher spiritual sadhana. If sexual energy is transmuted into ojas or spiritual energy, it is called the sex sublimation in the Western physiopsychology. In yoga, it's called Urdhva Retas. Urdhva means uprising. So the energy which is flown upwards into the brain as Ojas Shakti or the Shakti Rupa Ojas and not the Saman itself. So Brahmacharya is not just preventing the emission of sperm, but preventing the formation itself. So from this only I formed my thought of how ojas can be increased by skipping the functional aspect of the Supradhatu. We saw that semen and sperm contain a lot of energy. When ejaculation is habitual, frequent, or uncontrolled, that individual is being constantly drained of a quantum of highly potent living essence. So the body has to replace it by a constant process of metabolic energy through a food digestion, assimilation. So this imposes a heavy working burden on the digestive organs and glands like liver and pancreas, as well as the heart and the circulatory and eliminatory excretory system. So as a result, the cells and the tissues of those systems demand replacement more rapidly with high cell turnover, and this accelerates the metabolic rate, and we talked about this already, and elevates the basal body temperature. And this is one cause for rapid physical degeneration, aging, disease, and death. But how is the semen preserved or not formed? So in two ways. One is by thought, one is through mind, and other is through the body. If one can have a strong willpower, he can control it with his mind. And it's not very easy for everyone. But other method is through the body. That is where Kayakalpa, Mudras, and Bandhas have a role to play. So we'll talk about it also when we think of Ojas breathing and Kechari Mudra. So Ojas, so this is about Supradhatu, and Kayakalpa is the practice by which we can increase Ojas and necessary of Brahmacharya in Ojas. So Ojas is the breathing is called Ujjayi Pranayama in yoga. So in Ojas breathing, the Sanskrit word Jai means victorious. We all know that. So it's derived from the root Jai and means conquer. Or then the prefix used with is means bondage. So Ujjayi Pranayama means freedom from bondage. So that is the aim of spiritual life. So it's also known as the psychic breath as it leads to the subtle states of mind. It is used together with Kechari Mudra, the tongue law, in advanced yoga sadhanas and Kayakalpa. So in this Ojas breath, awareness should be in the throat. There should be gentle contraction of the glottis so that there is a soft snoring sound like the breathing of a sleeping baby is produced. If this is practiced correctly, there will be an effortless simultaneous contraction of the abdomen. Both inhalation and exhalation should be long, deep, and controlled. And this should be combined with Kechari Mudra. And spontaneous Jalandhara Bunda and the Udyana Banda, it happens, but Dr. Shanmugavelli has already explained the mechanism by which this combination of Jalandhara Banda and Udyana Banda helps in the increased energy in the body and how it comes up. So the Jalandhara Banda stimulates the vagus nerve and has a profoundly relaxing effect at the psychic level. So this Ojas breath, Ujjayi Pranayama, is classified as a tranquilizing pranayama. And of course, abdominal contraction leads to expansion of the chest, which causes a negative pressure in the chest, which facilitates the upward movements of Ojas Shakti towards the brain. And Ojas breath is done after the preparatory practice of Ashwini Mudra and Mula Bandha. So according to yoga, they produce heat in the Muladhara chakra. This Ashwini Mudra and the Mula Bandha produces the heat. So adesha மூலாதாரத்து மூண்டலு கனலை அப்படின்னு ஔவையார் விநாயகர் பதில் சொல்றாங்க. This converts ojas into vayu. That heat converts ojas into vayu, and then the next process takes the ojas breath takes it upwards towards the sahasrara or the brain. So this wakes up the dormant, sleeping, inactive brain cells so that the functional capacity of the brain increases manifold, and the Siddhas achieved a lot of siddhis because of this practice only. So of course here after this, the Kechari Mudra, we have already described about it, so I'm not going into detail about that. But I want to, the one or two points I want to make here. So though I made a connection between Kechari Mudra and GNRH, now GNRH is responsible for the puberty and the reproductive functions and the hormones. So, but to achieve the goals of Kayakalpa, GNRH secretion should be reduced or regulated, because we want to conserve the Shukra Dhatu and convert it into Ojas. So other thing is, so it is the melatonin that suppresses the GNRH secretion. So till puberty, the pineal gland is very active and produces melatonin. So when the pineal function is reduced, GNRH surfaces. So by doing Kechari Mudra, maybe the pineal stimulation and melatonin levels are maintained or increased, thereby decreasing the effect of GNRH and the formation of Shukra Dhatu. So you may remember Swamiji also says to stop Ojas and Kechari after marriage till conception. And also Kayakalpa is recommended as a family planning method. So three, melatonin is known to control all the circadian rhythms, sleep cycles, menstrual cycles, insulin sensitivity, and many other beneficial effects on health. And of course, Kudambai Siddhar also has said, Mangai Paal undu Malai Mel Irupporku Tengai Paal Edukadi Kudambai Tengai Paal Edukadi. So pineal gland is supposed to be in the shape of mango, and its secretion is melatonin, maybe the Mangai Paal they referred. So Malai Mel Irupor means for those who have reached the peak. So these are some of my thoughts, and it's up to us to decide on whether Ojas, SPF are all the same, and what is the physical equivalent of this, what we can think of on medical terms or indeed in our physical body. Because definitely Swamiji also has said this energy can become into chemical energy or form chemicals to heal anything that we have in our body. So Swamiji has also said if there should be a chemical transformation for the Ojas or Jivagandham also. So we have to decide on that to come to a consensus. And please, I stand to be corrected wherever needed. Thank you. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Short and sweet. Very clear in your expressions.
Thank you.
And a good mixture of Ayurveda and Siddha and science put together. And now we will invite Dr. JP to give his responses to this presentation.
Thank you, sir. Madam,
Yes,
you've
Doctor.
given a clear picture about Ojas. I want some basic question that I'm not knowledgeable in that part. So far, I've been thinking Ojas breath is mudra. Do you say pranayama or a mudra? Ojas breathing is a type of pranayama or a mudra or a part of mudra?
It's a pranayama. Ojas
So
is not a mudra.
it is
Mudra
not
is
a part of
Ashwini mudra and Mula Bandha. Only those two are mudras, and Jalandhara Bandha and Udyana Bandha. But
So
Ojas is the breathing.
you finish the Kayakalpa with the pranayama like a Ojas.
Yes.
So Ojas is not a part of Kayakalpa.
No, Ojas is a part of Kayakalpa.
So Kayakalpa
After Mula
is
Bandha,
combination of mudra and pranayama.
yes.
Yes.
And pranayama.
Pranayama. So you say ojas in various parts of ojas. You classify ojas nicely, the cosmic ojas, the body ojas, and the other third one was the
Shakti.
Shakti ojas.
Shakti Rupa
And
Ojas.
is in ojas in fact equal to energy, or you make it as a common word in the common people? You make ojas as an energy format, or what do you say in a common people? How do you explain?
It is the energy that in the body becomes a chemical structure also.
No. Before you go into that,
Yes.
you if for a common people to explain ojas, would you explain as a format of energy or another word for energy? Ojas is another word for energy.
Yeah, it is a the energy. The another word for energy is prana. So the prana which comes from the food, from the universe in the form of through a breath and through the food, then that is.
Where do you use the word ojas? Exactly where do you use the word? Is it a form of energy, or
it is a condensed energy formed in the body from the food and the cosmic energy.
So that is it is a cosmic energy transformation to ojas and comes to body?
Yes, cosmic energy directly through our breathing, indirectly through the plants.
So in fact, it is a manifestation of energy through ojas.
Yes, definitely.
Cosmic energy manifestation through ojas. Is that right?
Yes. That's where
I make it very clear.
Also. Yes.
Cosmic energy is manifestation into the nature as ojas.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. The energy
because we don't want confusion in explaining to simple people. Like, my understanding of Ayurveda and the thing is very, very, very simple. So if I may say that the ojas is manifest as a tejas. Your face is tejas, like sort of thing, right? Yes. The third form of ojas expressed like an aura or tejas in the body. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. So I can say the cosmic energy manifestation to the nature through the form of pranic ojas and other bodily ojas. Yeah? And the Shakti ojas. Okay. Thank you. I was really a bit of a thing. And another thing, you talked about the melatonin and the GnRH, the growth hormone regulations. And in physiology, the growth hormone has got the receptors in all parts of the cell. If you name it, any part of the cell, the growth hormone has got receptors. And the next one, hormone, has got receptors in most of the body cells, is melatonin. And the rest of the hormones only limited receptors in certain cells of the body. So, as you rightly said, the Kudambechitta setting the melatonin or manonmanium in Siddha court is an anti-aging hormone or the master hormone which combine all the other hormones work in the right direction. So the melatonin is much more superior to growth hormone than growth hormone, even though growth hormone makes the functions or growing of all the cells regularly. Melatonin is much more superior in action and coordinating all the hormones, of organizing of the hormones in a much more very complex way. And as you rightly said, the melatonin can be completely modified in action by stress hormone cortisol. So the neurohormones especially the cortisol, can affect the work of the melatonin and growth hormone. So that is why, as you rightly put, the psychological effect of the voyage is very important to maintain the growth hormone and melatonin. So when you do Kayakalpa, the psychological impact by reducing the cortisol, making the function of melatonin and growth hormone in a much more optimized way.
The psychoneuroendocrinal physiology.
Yeah. That is why the cortisol plays a major part in affecting melatonin and growth hormone function and other hormone functions. So by psychoneurological effect of Kayakalpa, we need to say how the cortisol function has to be optimized or calmed down. So making the other hormone functions much more effective, especially in Kayakalpa. That is why I always feel Kayakalpa regulate the hormone balancing or optimizing the hormonal functions of all the orchestration of the hormones. So my real idea of is orchestrating the hormone balancing by Kayakalpa.
Thank you, doctor. As I already said, I am just an MBBS doctor, studied in 1965. So
no.
I thought primitive, my views are primitive, and I'm very happy that you are all here to correct it and then take it forwards. And I really want you all to take it forwards. And I stand to be corrected at any stage. And thank you for that.
No, you're right. I'm not saying you've done anything wrong statement. I'm giving a further explanation on the growth hormone and melatonin action and psychoneurological effect of Kayakalpa by optimizing the cortisol function. Especially cortisol is the wild hormone, which makes the hormone imbalance very erratically, especially the younger generation, why they are going into PCOD, why they are going into insulin resistance very early. It's mainly because of cortisol.
Who really wants to say something? I need others' opinion also, all the others.
Please.
Yes. Shanmugavel is ready to come.
Raise his hand, please.
And we have a request from somebody to join the meeting. Just this can be refused. This is probably, we don't know who it is. How to refuse him? Shakti, can you help?
We can ask who he was.
If we don't ask, you stand up.
No, it is coming again and again on the screen. Right. Okay. Okay, Shanmugavel, you proceed.
We cannot see that, sir. I cannot see that request. Only the host can probably see that.
No. The host wants to know how to say no to him.
There is a mark there. You can put the into mark.
Or just leave it, sir. We can wait.
Okay. Right. Shanmugavel, you proceed. Audible.
The chapter said was that cortisol plays a main role.
But not clear. You are audible, but not clear. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Carry on, we will see how it is.
I said cortisol. Yes, that is the main one because the sympathetic system becomes the dominant one, so sympathetic system is the dominant one. Clarification I want to know. Urges and mergers. The same particle.
Sariya Kekala is not clear.
Urges and mergers.
Ojas and Tejas, yeah.
Are the same or different?
Yeah, Ojas is the energy and Tejas is the effect. Tejas is the light. Supposing it's a candle, if it burns and you get the light, that energy That is pages.
Because one like that only. Because pages is the heat produced by the breath. This is the deeper energy obtained when the breath is absorbed. That's what they are given. That's the difference. It's the heat produced when it is sun outside. Pages is what is actually inside. Absorbed inside. So they both are entirely different. That's all. Concentration is where this
Like சரியா கேட்கலைங்க. Dr. Shaktidharan?
Two more people raising the hands. Who are they?
ஐயா நான் இங்க சக்திதரன்.
All right, to carry on.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for outlining the Ayurveda explanation. There are two questions and one observation. The first question is, you yourselves outlined that we have to clarify sexual vital fluid and ojas. And I'm just wondering, in your mind, are they the same or different?
I think the name is the same, I think. But we don't know the physical component in the body medically. I feel because Ayurveda says definitely it has got a physical component and a metaphysical component. So that is the energy that comes, it becomes a physical thing. So that is why in the vital fluid also I feel that definitely the vitality is there, but there should be something in the body to hold that vitality.
Yeah.
So both I feel technically they are the same. I feel almost the same in different words we are talking, but medically we should also be. Of course, we know that energy also is not some amorphous thing. Energy is there in the chemicals, and the chemicals only convert it into energy, isn't it? Acetylcholine and all that. And so whether mitochondria has a part in this, I don't know. That is all up to you people to decide.
Okay, madam. We will come back to that. At the moment, let us just put a question mark. Are they the same or different? There will be different perspectives, I think, on that one.
Yes.
And it is quite possible that they are both superimposed, that one is transmuted into the other. We don't know. But I have another question.
Yes.
Maharishi has explained in very much detail the steps in Kayakalpa. He goes on to say toning up of nerves, recirculation of sexual vital fluid, and then he goes into the body, sexual vital fluid, life force, biomagnetism, and mind as the 5 components involved in the Kayakalpa practice. And I wonder, given your very clear explanation that it is energy, whether Maharishi has not really gone into explaining ojas because he used the term biomagnetism.
Yes.
Which is also one aspect that is coming into my mind.
No, the biomagnetism is also an energy. So like electricity, it is a magnetism is also an energy. So
that is
here we say it's energy. Of course, not exactly prana. It is a form of energy.
Okay. So they're all different forms of energy, but ojas is the purest form of
container. Swamiji also has said, see, பால் இருந்தா கூட அந்த பால் வைக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு பாத்திரம் வேணும். அந்த மாதிரி he said no. So
ஆமா, அது பாத்திரம் வந்து ஜெனெடிக் சென்டர்ல எல்லாமே லைஃப் ஃபோர்ஸ்.
ஆமா, there is milk. அந்த மில்க்குள்ள வந்து எப்படி நெய், அது வெண்ணெய், அப்புறம் நெய் உறைஞ்சு இருக்கோ அந்த மாதிரி எனர்ஜி இருக்கு. அந்த நெய் எடுத்து நம்ம போட்டோம்னா ஒரு விளக்கு எரியும். So that but பாலை ஊத்துனோம்னா எரியாது. So the energy comes from the extract of the milk. So அதே மாதிரி இந்த பால் மாதிரி there should be a chemical equivalent. That is what is the vital fluid.
எஸ் ஓகே வைட்டல் ஓகே. நான் வந்து இப்போ இதுல இருந்து நீங்க சொன்னதுல எனக்கு என்ன மனசுக்கு புரிஞ்சுது அப்படின்னா, ஓஜஸ் இஸ் an energy. Ojas can be best explained as energy. It can appear in different forms, into fluid or sexual vital fluid or indeed biomagnetism. அது வரைக்கும் கரெக்டா மேம் நான் இன்டர்பிரட் பண்ணது?
Yeah, the energy that comes from the atmosphere, from the prapancham, it is converted into chemical components by the plants and things and then sent to our body, and our body is again extracts that energy from those chemical components.
Great. I think I am of the same opinion as you based on what I have understood. Last thing, I just wanted to quote Vivekananda's work. Swami Vivekananda, he somewhere, I have noted it down in my book. I will get the reference. It probably is in the Raja Yoga book.
Okay.
He says a few points about ojas. First, he says ojas is the highest form of energy. Second, he says the more it is stored up in the brain, the more the ojas is in a man's head, the more he is becoming powerful intellectually and spiritually strong.
Yes.
And then he also says all forms of forces in the body has some element of ojas in it, but he says that yogis think that that part of the human energy which is expressed as sex energy or sexual thought, when checked and controlled, easily becomes ojas.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to.
Yes, that is also, I'm trying to just explain it in different words so that the understanding, my understanding in this is becoming very, very clear. Ojas is one form, he says highest form of energy. We can say purest form of energy, or the subtlest is probably the best expression to give to ojas. So if we agree that ojas is the subtlest form of energy, the more energy is available in our brain, which we know that the brain is not fully utilized and maximized and all of that, then it kind of is starting to really correlate. Everything is correlating to, it is a form of conserving energy for higher functions that are very specially evolved in human being. So up to that, I'm very, very content in hearing your explanation. And the few words I would like to make, madam, observations, in turning this all into simple for common public. If we can provide a framework for understanding, like you said, mudras and breathing, mudras and pranayamas are the basic components in Kayakalpa. When we do it regularly, there is a psychological component about lifestyles, which is mutually sort of positive feedback loop. But fundamentally, mudras and breathing, I feel that there are three processes or pathways through which the human benefits. One is the physical process. Ashwini Mudra, it heats up. When anything heats up, energy travels upwards. We know all that. So there is a physical explanation. Then there is a physiological explanation, which you have already given, and Sharmavelu sir, all of us, we have listened to yourself, sir, and also JP and Ananda. There is a neuroendocrinal. There is one more thing, which is immunological, that I feel we need to add specifically, which all leads to better cellular moderation or regulation of cellular infidelity. And that also protects the cellular longevity. I think we can agree on that. So this is very content in your explanation. I think if only one thing that is still pending in my mind is, we need to be very clear. So SVF and ojas, having listened to this, my thought is taking me to ojas is manifesting in different forms, and one of the forms is SVF. Thank you, madam.
But what about the medical correlation? That's what
Medical correlation about the ojas, we cannot have a direct medical language to this. The most closest that it comes to is the transformed part of ojas, which is seen as electrical energy or
Chemical
energy. That is how we can explain so far, as per my understanding. We cannot because there is a limit to how medical sciences can go in explaining this. Ayurveda has done this, but the closest we can come to is ojas is, but using physics we can explain. The human body needs energy, and all energy can be explained in different forms, and all the various laws of energy conservation and all of that we can go in. Maybe that we lack as a group, or certainly I lack the knowledge. But physiologically, the closest I can come to is the manifestation of that energy, basically what you said, as electrical energy and
chemical energy.
But actually, when we talk about the body and energy, of course, each cell has, whether a vital fluid can be equated to the cytoplasm. And when we talk about energy, it's the mitochondria in the cell that is responsible for the energy production. So
ultimately, yes.
Yes. So how do we connect if we can connect that?
Cellular level, madam, cellular level, we know how the cells do the metabolism and how energy is stored.
OJS doesn't mean that when we increase the OJS, that means when we increase the capacity of the cell to regenerate and all the cellular biology. Dr. JP was telling about the mitochondrial this thing and DNA.
ATP, the Krebs cycle. Yes.
Yeah. And so all that can be connected to this
we can
somehow the vital fluid and the cytoplasm or the mitochondrial chemicals, or that is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Make that small link, everything
we
resolved.
Yes, madam. Yes, I think we have started to already triangulate, correlate. All this is joining up really well in my mind. So physiological, when you go through the physiological pathway, by neuronal, endocrinal, immunological regulation, directly one way is through the GnRH, and you conserve the sexual energy. That is one way of explaining this. Then the neural pathways and parasympathetic system, how it helps with homeostasis, is another one. The third one, which I feel we haven't really fully explored, is the CSF. In the negative pressure, can the body actually regulate the circulation of CSF and lymphatic fluid better? If we can, that is one area we haven't looked at it, madam. But if you think about the melatonin is directly secreted in the CSF. So when the CSF circulation is better, whether there is a biofeedback and how that operates, if we can close that loop, then we can explain that also. And finally, it's the cellular level. We know that, I think we haven't agreed on that. The sexual vital fluid cannot be just the reproductive systems associated fluids. If we can agree that the vital fluid also includes other vital components, whether it is plasma, extracellular fluid, lymphatic fluid, each cell bathes in an extracellular environment, which has direct links to neural systems. That far we have gone. So I think there is a way of bringing together in plain English based on what the explanation you've given, madam. Thank you again.
And we should come to a consensus, and then only we should formulate. That's why I'm keeping my article. I haven't completed my article.
So the only thing we haven't.
When all of you say okay, then I will go to it, write it.
The SVF is the one that we haven't concluded, ma'am. I did share my thoughts. Maybe we have to discuss that again and come to an agreement.
Okay.
Is there anyone who wants to say something?
Dr. Ananda?
Dr. Ananda said he may not be present throughout the session.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I will ask you some clarifications in what you said. You said ojas is a fluid.
Yes. I didn't say Ayurveda says Ojas is a fluid. Of course, it is in a fluid form and in a Shakti Rupa form, two forms.
So the fluid terminology includes liquid, uh, gaseous, and energy. All put together is the fluid. Is it okay?
Yeah, we can take it like that. See, but at one time it cannot be all three. At one time it will be fluid, at one time it will be gas. So that's why I said it is physical
Fluid,
and
fluid is a terminology used to include all the three forms: liquid, gaseous, and energy forms.
no, it cannot be because fluid means it's more of a liquid. I think it cannot include.
What do you say, Sakti?
Madam, just thinking about water, we know water can at the same time, it can exist as gas and liquid.
Yeah, what I'm saying is at one time it is fluid, at one time it is solid, one time it is steam. So at the same time it cannot be all three.
No. It means
That it can
liquid form, gaseous form, and energy form.
That's
it means a common word. Otherwise, they would have said liquid. He is not using the word liquid. The fluid and liquid both are in the liquid form, but liquid doesn't include gaseous form. So this is only, it means any of the three. And all the three may not be existing in one situation.
At the same time, yes.
Yeah. It is
so that's why I have
one to
said,
other.
No? That's why I said upper ojas can become the Shakti Rupa ojas. So the liquid form or the fluid form converts into the gaseous form or the energy form. That's why Shakti Rupa.
Yes, Sakti.
Yeah, madam's explanation is also fitting. But when you examine these things through quantum physics, they can exist. It is known that a particle and wave all exist at the same time. So I don't know whether we can directly transpose that understanding, but in the quantum world, it is a very well-known phenomenon that the superposition, tunneling, all of that is possible, they say. Indeed, they have observed that.
So we cannot replace the word fluid in the sexual vital fluid with anything else because it is more better suited for that.
No, that is okay. What I'm saying is let it be there, but we have to give a medical equivalent, nearest medical equivalent. That is what I'm saying. I don't. That's what first itself I said. I'm not going to contradict Maharishi.
That question, no, that question remains as it is. It is not answered. It is not answered. And obviously, we don't have an easy answer. We will see that. The next one is eighth Tadu.
Yes.
Is Ojas.
Yes.
And the properties of Ojas, you said it is functions of it are common both to sexual vital fluid and Ojas. It is all the same.
No.
If you project that slide, you can tell that.
So,
Saktidharan, you can put down your hand signal.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Right.
You want this slide?
No. The functions of ojas.
Functions of ojas. No,
Still before? Where you said
so this one. So Rakta to ojas.
this is Sabda Tadus.
Yeah, Sapta Dhatus and the eighth Dhatu, I have put it as ojas or the pure energy.
Between Shukra and ojas, what is the relationship?
That is what sequentially here from the rasa, every other dhatu is getting formed.
Yeah.
And then the last one, they say Shukra dhatu.
Oh.
But until puberty, the Shukra dhatu is not formed. So this arrow goes straight to form the ojas, but the dhatu. So after puberty, the Shukra dhatu and that is wasted. The ojas becomes less. So that's how I understood. And I think that is one
for
point.
The whole body.
Says,
for the whole energy. Body. For the whole body,
yes.
You can say Shukratadu is producing the sperm and the egg. At the cellular level, what is the action of the Shukratadu? Is there Shukratadu prior to puberty or not?
There is in the minimal quantities.
I bring in two different entities. That is, one is the vital fluid. The second is the gametes, the sperm and the ovum. These two are two branches of the Shukratadu. And the energy form of the vital fluid is from the vital fluid you get the ojas, and from the ojas you get the biomagnetism or energy or chemical or electrical, all these energy forms. So vital fluid gives ojas. Ojas leads to the energy forms, consumable energy forms. And the egg, ovum or the sperm is not connected with the vital fluid. Because we are existing up to maturity, puberty, without the sperm or the ovum. But we are doing all the cellular functions before their appearance. So there is some form of energy operating to make the cell to divide, to make the cell to repair, to do the physiological functions of the cell. Everything, all these activities are carried on right from the first cell to the puberty level. Without the presence of sperm or the ovum. How it is done?
That is through ojas. Ojas is responsible for the cell.
So the ojas is existing even before the egg or ovum or the sperm.
Yes, that's why I said from the sixth dhatu, it goes on to the eighth dhatu, surpassing the seventh.
If you remove that surpassing, the problem will be simpler. When there is not there, when the sperm or the ovum is not there, how are you surpassing it? It is not there. It comes only after puberty.
It is there in the rudimentary form, the primordial oocytes and the sperm.
But that is not
already there all the time. But they don't
that
start
is not
functioning.
Acting.
They are already there. but they're not functioning till puberty.
Sir, can I tell, sir? Sir,
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
stop
yes.
it.
sir, because in one place it's mentioned that ojas is a life-giving sap that nourishes the all bodily tissues. So it is there from the beginning. But only when the semen and ovum are coming, the increasing the production of the ojas is vital in order to support fertility and healthy pregnancy. So it supports
you
all
are
that.
telling, you are telling that it is ojas
Yes, sir.
which is
Ojas.
supporting,
Yes, sir.
and what I feel is it is the precursor of the ojas, namely the vital fluid. The vital fluid itself, it is accumulating in the Muladhar,
Yes, sir.
the genetic center area.
Yes, sir.
No,
The
Ravi,
field,
ojas is present throughout the body. See, the first slide I have said is
the
the
same
basis of
thing.
physical body and the basis of body functions.
Yes.
So,
It is
Madam.
present all the body.
For all the
nourishing-
One
cells.
minute,
But
one
this
minute,
thing, it's all the cells. So cellular
one minute,
regeneration,
1 minute.
cellular division, everything,
So
cellular repair,
everything. It is, you say it is ojas. I am telling it is vital fluid.
I'm saying both are the same.
That is what Shakti asked.
Yeah.
So it is.
Yes.
See, it is one stage and the next stage, like that. It is present according to Maharishi, or what I feel also. It is present in the form of vital fluid, and from the vital fluid, according to the need, we get it in the form of ojas, and ojas gets converted into magnetism. So that is how, these are the steps, and how it is stored, how the ojas travels throughout the body. In the same way, the vital fluid also travels throughout the body. And according to the uh, Ayurveda text and Maharishi, the marrow secretes the vital fluid.
That is where
We all agree, or is it to be clarified?
No, from the marrow, the vital fluid, that point, I think I'm not very convinced about that. So, and one other thing, see, everybody already has some clear view about it. When we are going to present something, we should make it simpler and more clear. We should not go and make it more
Yes.
complicated.
Now our problem is to make it clearer. You
Yeah,
make
but
it
we
clear
should
to
make
me.
May more complicated by saying vital fluid and ojas and then energy. So,
Madam, sir.
Yes.
May
Yes,
I come
yes.
in? May I
Yes,
come
yes.
in?
Please, please. I need help.
I'm trying to simplify, sir. I'm trying to
Right.
help answer your question. We need to agree some fundamental principles.
yes.
Energy exists in multiple forms. Energy exists even when there is no liquid. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. Next, we are all agreed ojas is the highest form or subtlest form of energy. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. Third, therefore, ojas is present from the single cell that gives the energy from the single cell to all its growth and development. And also, when the puberty happens, it also helps with progeny.
Yes.
Agreed?
So,
yes, sir?
Yes. Carry on,
Okay.
carry on. Complete.
So the ojas therefore exists in all parts of the body, and it is available in all, therefore it is available in all fluids in the body, particularly the fluids that are supporting the metabolism.
Metabolism as well as the sperm.
Metabolism and growth and development and reproduction.
Yes, yes.
So if we are agreed so far, it is only a plausible conclusion to arrive that ojas exists in the fluid, and therefore they are
one and the same.
Fluid is a container of the energy.
Energy, yes.
When we conserve the energy expenditure through the sexual activities, that energy is available for other purposes of the body. And if we take that energy and use it for higher brain functions, that is where we get all the neural, hormonal, endocrinal, all the
orchestra.
Orchestra is played from hypothalamus to downwards and hypothalamus to upwards into the higher cortical functions and all of that. Sir, this is a complete explanation from my point of view, sir. I may be missing something, but that would do for common public. We say ojas is the subtlest form of energy. It is found in sexual fluid as well as in other vital fluids, and that is why we are calling this, for easier purposes, sexual vital fluid.
We are in Kayakalpa, we are not concerned about the ojas present all over the body. We are generating the ojas by doing the Ashwini Mudra. What is the raw material for the development of ojas by the process of Ashwini Mudra?
சார் ஒரு ஸ்டெப் பின்னாடி போங்க சார். நம்ம ஜெனரேட்டிங் த ஓஜஸ்னு பாக்குறத விட we are
preserving the ojas by limiting the sexual vital fluid, the semen and menstrual blood. Seventh dhatu குறைக்கிறதுனால we are increasing the ojas. That is the point here.
அப்படி பார்த்தோம்னா கரெக்டா ஃபிட் ஆகுது சார். நம்ம generation of ojas, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transformed.
Transformed. It is transformed from the vital fluid to ojas.
Agreed, sir.
And
I agree with you. I don't know about
another point of difference is to bring in the semen and the female sexual secretions, equating ojas.
No, sir. We can bring it.
It's not.
We can bring.
Ojas.
No, we can.
The seventh dhatu and ojas is the eighth dhatu. So you have to bypass the seventh dhatu to increase ojas.
Why you want to bypass? From seventh dhatu, eighth stage comes.
Madam, I come here. You cannot split ojas into eighth, seventh, eighth dhatu.
Okay.
Ojas exists in all dhadus.
You are contradicting your own statement, madam. You said energy form ojas. Now you are splitting the seventh, eighth dhatu.
No. I said rakta means blood and prana.
No. You are contradicting your own statement. You said to me very clearly.
Ojas is not there, but I'll show you. When I said all the tissues, in this I have not, but in my written notes I have written.
Madam, you simply told me that ojas is a subtlest form of energy from cosmic to all the body. You cannot split ojas separately, one dhatu, the other dhatu, like that. You cannot split. Ojas is in every part of the dhatu, gives energy.
See, this slide.
You cannot split the ojas into different parts. The energy is everywhere, every part of the dhatu.
Yeah, I'll just 1 minute.
Sir, I beg to interfere. The energy is everything, but the forms of energy are different. The energy is manifesting in different forms.
I agree. But madam said ojas is the primary part of the energy. It goes into every part of the body.
Sir, let it be, sir, because it still fits in. Because if it's the primordial energy that is available for all dhadus, so be it. But let us not say the bypass is the word that I am not able to fit in my understanding. But
I agree.
She will use a different word.
I agree with that. You cannot split. Ojas is a separate dhatu and the rest of them are different dhatu. Then doesn't make any energy concept.
Now what I said was, excuse me, give me some time. And that I've written a slide, but in this slide it has not come. The rasa contains the plasma plus ojas. Rakta contains blood plus prana. Mamsa, muscle plus prana. Meda is fat plus prana. Asti is bone plus prana. Majja is the bone marrow plus prana. Shukra is also a reproductive tissue. And the other thing is, ojas is the pure energy. That is what I said.
No. with
Whereas
all the
the
steps
last
you
one,
said,
there is no tissue, but there is pure energy. So that is what I said.
see,
See, in this,
without pure
in this
energy,
one,
nothing exists.
because in this slide, I wanted to add Namsa plus all prana, I wanted to add in every thing, but that girl has missed it. In my written notes, it is there. And
okay.
But the OJS is, in the end, whatever is, there's no tissue, but there is only energy. So that is how I meant it. So it is present with everything, with all the 7 dhatus, it is OJS is present, or the energy is present. And then in OJS, there is no tissue, but there is only energy in a form of liquid.
That I agree.
I agree, madam. I agree.
In
That I agree,
vital
madam.
fluid,
What you said, I agree. I agree.
in vital fluid, do you have any tissue? Or
There will be tissues, there will
No,
be
this is
energy
what
also,
I-
sir.
This is what I said.
energy
There's
is
no
there,
tissue and this is
but
pure energy. See this slide, you can see.
yeah,
There's
see,
one, I mean, all the tissues are found, but after that, the energy left over is OJS. But OJS is there all along. It hasn't come from Shukra. Even if it has to come from Shukra, Marrow, like that, according to the previous view, it has to be present from there. From Rasa itself, it has to be present. But according to the
you
previous
have
stuff,
put,
through
you have put
one from the other.
Tadus,
But what I'm saying
Tadus,
is, it is sequential.
You have put Tadus plus prana.
Yes, Tadu, that she has not typed it.
No, right. I visualize that. Tadus plus prana.
Yes.
What I feel is prana plus ojas. Ojas is present in all the stages.
Now you've introduced prana, sir.
Madam has introduced.
மேடம் உங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்லைடுக்கு போங்க. Because I think you said Ojas is an essence present in every dhatu.
Yes.
And starting from Rasa to Shukla and responsible for the strength of the body.
Yes.
It is something like alphabets in the language. It is present in all the words.
The fluid of the life. So
subtle essence of all the vital fluids. Yeah, that's what.
So
all the vital fluids.
Gives the answer.
Yes, sir.
That's the first thing
I'm just equating vital fluid and ojas, the fluid of life.
Yes, the fluid of life. That's what I.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And I give another example which Maharishi says. Divine dust particles, they appear from the space, absolute space, and when they dissolve back into space, magnetism is produced. Okay. And Maharishi himself uses these two stages, dust particles and magnetism stages. He uses one for the other in very many expressions of his. He will say it is universal magnetic field. And he will say the universe is filled with dust particles.
Correct.
And these two are subtle. The particles only on their dissolution in absolute space, the magnetism manifests. Magnetism is space plus additional energy taken from the dust particles. And the magic is the dust particles themselves have come out of the space.
Sir, this is the unique thing. Only Maharishi has said. I'm also trying to explain this to everybody here. Only Maharishi has made the connection, as far as I know, that the space itself, இறைத்துவர்கள் கரைசல் தான் காந்தம், திருப்பியும் வந்து ஸ்பேஸ்ல இறைவெளியில கலக்கிறது தான் காந்தம்.
And it is to understand with the ordinary mind, brain, it is very, very difficult. The dust particles come from the space. And what is the force that is generating the dust particles? It is the surrounding self-compressive pressure force of the absolute space inherent in it. which is everlasting, ever increasing, which is querying and kinematic. A fantastic definition of absolute space, and very difficult to understand.
ரபி, இதெல்லாம் உங்களோட சாப்டர்ல வந்துருது ஆல்ரெடி. சுவாமிஜியோட எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷன்
இல்லைங்க அந்த சாப்டர்ல வந்தாலும்
இப்போ
we have to retain to முதல் சாப்டர்ல இருக்கிறது. it has to be true to the rest of the chapters. அது முடிஞ்சது அப்படின்ட்டு விடுறதுக்கு இல்ல, because it is the fundamental.
Yeah, and the fundamentals அப்புறம் we have to build on the physical aspects. That's what you build.
You build. You
but
do
we cannot
whatever.
Explain. இதுல திரும்பியும் அதை கொண்டு வர்றது is very
you can make up any word with all the alphabets, but you cannot dispense of the alphabets.
Yes, Rabi, but
they only make the word. அதே மாதிரி இதுலயும் it is that magnetism is necessary. அது ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளுக்கு தான் சொன்னேன், அதை இங்க கொண்டு வரல. அதை எப்படி அவர் ரெண்டு சிச்சுவேஷன்லயும் ஃப்ரீயா யூஸ் பண்றாரோ வித்தவுட் டிஃபரன்ஷியேட்டிங் த டூ. சொல்லும் போது கிளியரா சொல்றார் டிஃபரன்ஷியேட்டிங் அப்படிங்கிறது, இதுல இருந்து தான் இது வருது அப்படின்னு சொல்றார். பட் வென் இட் கம்ஸ் டஸ்ட் பார்ட்டிகல்ஸ் சொல்ற இடத்துல மேக்னட்டிசம்னு சொல்றாரு, மேக்னட்டிசம்னு சொல்ற இடத்துல டஸ்ட் பார்ட்டிகல்ஸ் சொல்றாரு. அந்த இடம் தான் கொஞ்சம் மேக்ஸ் இட் ambiguous.
இல்ல சார் ambiguous இல்ல சார். நம்ம இதுல எல்லாமே there is no contradictions.
contradiction இல்ல. it is we have to understand both mean the same. அதே மாதிரி
பிராணா அப்படிங்கறதையும் நம்ம டஸ்ட் பார்ட்டிகல்னா எடுத்துக்கலாம். அப்புறம் it can become a shakti also. It can become
பிராணா அப்படினா பிராணாவை மேக்னட்டிசமா எடுத்துக்கலாம்.
Okay, we have to agree on that. All of
sir, I feel the same, sir. I feel the same. All the type of energy is from magnetism. The spinning
magnetism
is
the energy. Unified force, single force of the whole universe.
That will be causing the primary source of energy. All sources.
Yes.
Energy nu podunga sir, correct ah varum. Energy வேற. Energy is manifested in various types of the dhadus in our body.
So even rasa is an energy, the marrow is the energy, and the vital fluid is also energy. Energy is the common denominator of all, everything, and we qualify it in different stages.
We have lost you, sir.
No, there was a call in between, so I don't know how to block that call. I have declined that. Okay. So this is the basic problem on day 1, and it remains to be the same even today.
1 year. So that's
even after 1 year. And
so we have to
unless we solve it, let us not proceed further.
Okay, but how to solve it?
Sir, I have a basic question, sir. I don't know what is the problem we are trying to solve. If we say the energy is in the vital fluid and it is also present in so if we say if the energy is ojas and it's present in the vital fluid, and we are doing Kayakalpa to tone up the recirculation of the vital fluid into so that the ojas can be available for spiritual development.
Right.
That is it, sir. That you summed it very well, sir. I totally agree with that. There is no confusion or in this discussion. It's very simple, sir. What Dr. Sakti said, I totally accept that.
Yes, even I want to say something. See, even if we don't use the word ojas, I'm okay with it. I gave this presentation just to give a little bit of a different thinking on that vital experience aspect of it. That's all. I'm not particular that the word should be used or the same thing.
You cannot dispense off. You cannot leave the word ojas. Ojas has to be
If
there.
you want,
Ojas
you can
has to
take
be
it.
there.
If you don't want,
Yeah.
you can leave it also.
No, it is not a question of wanting it or don't want
No,
it.
no. What I'm saying, if we want to retain the SV of itself, it's okay. But because Swamiji has said, oh, just breathing, and we are not at all
Yes.
talking
Today-
about that word. Today, I said, I'll just give a presentation on that. That's all.
Today, your
It's more
presentation
important
has
that we come to a consensus than hair splitting. That's what I'm saying.
no hair splitting illa. See, today's presentation of giving the properties of Ojas, which are all the same for the vital fluid also.
Yeah, that's why I
Vital
said
fluid
it's the
is
same.
one stage. Vital fluid is one stage. And from vital fluid, you get the Ojas. And by the process of Ashwini Mudra.
That is why I put a word called semiconductor of Ojas is the vital fluid.
Semiconductor of Ojas is?
The vital fluid.
Yeah.
That's I put the word in the chat box. I put it a few minutes ago. Semiconductor of the Ojas is the vital fluid.
So we will retain the word vital fluid, and
Yes, sir.
vital fluid, from vital fluid, the Ojas is transformed. Vital
Yes, sir.
fluid transformed to Ojas. Ojas is not utilized in the body as such. Ojas becomes magnetism and it is utilized. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So
Ojas
if
is
the first
available in the
slide
vital
also I said,
fluid.
Ojas is the subtle essence of all the vital fluids that I've already included in that first slide. The slide on your.
And that Ojas becomes magnetism before it is being utilized
That is
in the
Shakti
whole
Rupa
body.
Ojas. That's
Yeah.
Shakti Rupa Ojas. Okay.
The Ojas becomes Shakti Rupa. Shakti Rupa is the magnetism.
Okay.
So it is in terminologies we get lost. So let
that's
us
what I'm saying.
understand
We
the
just have to
terminologies,
equate.
and there is no difference. And
Yes, sir.
naturally, people cannot use the same terminology when they come from different fields.
Yeah, definitely.
And I have the biggest difficulty of delivering this to the parent body, the World Community Service Center, the professors, who have to accept what we say. So they will listen to us because they look for they agree that we are more better placed to deal with this.
Sir, for that, we really need to be clear what we mean
by
we mean by sexual vital fluid and Ojas. I think we need to be either agree or come to a consensus that these are contained. Ojas is contained in the sexual vital fluid, and sexual vital fluid is not just sperms and ova. It includes all the vital fluids in the body.
This point, I want to make it very, very clear.
I agree, sir.
Can you hold the Ojas? You cannot, because it is an energy.
Sir,
Agreed?
the Ojas is held in different formats, like energy.
Yes, it is held in different formats. Whichever format it is, can you take Ojas separately?
See, we have energy stored in the body, isn't it?
We are not taking the body. We are talking about the energy.
Yeah, energy stored. We have storage of energy, isn't it, in the body?
See, when you say it is the sperm or the ovum, they are grass, much grass. They have evolved from the Ojas. They have evolved from the vital fluid. Both are same. And this is a evolved energy. And that is doing only one job. That is creating another progeny. The sperm cannot be producing life force or cannot be producing magnetism or Ojas. Sperm is sperm. And it is clear-cut, well studied, the structure of an ovum, structure of sperm. Everything is clearly studied. They take the ovum, mechanically and push it into the ovum. The sperm in fertilization, artificial fertilization. So this you don't mistake with vital fluid. Vital fluid is different, and the sperm and the egg is different. If
That's what we've been saying from day one. That's what we are saying. It is.
But you are just now a few minutes before this vital fluid, sperm or ovum. It is not R.
No, vital fluid is not sperm or ovum.
That is good.
One and then we get the ojas.
And that is good. And the mistaken expression, which I don't agree, is from the Vittu Sakti, you get the life force or even the magnetism, everything. Vittu Sakti is Vittu, that is sperm and the ovum.
Sir,
and Vittu Sakti is vital fluid.
Actually, Rabi, you may remember from last year, I've been saying you should not equate semen with the this thing.
I'm not equating. I'm just only telling
fluid, all that. That's the common expression. Everybody thinks that. So
yeah.
What I've been contesting
that should not be
1 year.
That should not be. You are telling the same, and I am also telling the same. But people, even in our discussion, we have brought in the gametes.
However, when we try to explain it to other professors and other people who are not part of the discussions, it will be very hard to explain this if we are completely ignoring the understanding that Vittu Sakti also, Vittu Nadam, the fluid also has the energy. So I think that we are completely discounting that. What I'm proposing is we cannot discount that. That is also a form of energy. Bindu Nadam is also containing ojas. So energy
every cell is an energy form.
So அது ஏன் சார் நம்ம வந்து அது கிடையாதுன்னு சொல்றதை விட அதுவும் இதுல இருக்கு அப்படின்னு
it's a concentrated form of energy. That is why அது waste ஆகும்போது நிறைய energy loss ஆகுது. That's what we
Madam, the entire body is the concentrated form of energy.
No. This one, the seminal fluid and the sperm and ovum are more concentrated forms of energy. அதுக்கு நான் சொன்னேன்ல, ஒரு sperm வந்து if it has to reach the ovum, it's like a man swimming for 2 kilometers. That much of energy is packed into each sperm. And then that one contains 50 to 75 millions in 1 ml. And for one emission, there is about anywhere between 100 to 200. So that much
the world population is there. The entire world population is there.
So that much energy is lost during. That's what Ananda also said. No, if you in the energy nama idu pannona, it goes to higher chakras.
See,
also said
the sperm, if you wash them and suspend them, they lose their potency. They don't swim that fast. They die.
We all agree on that. We all agree that it has energy.
No. The energy, the sperms are in the field of concentrated form of energy, which is a vital fluid or ojas. So it is the energy that helps in which the sperms are suspended, helps the sperm to move about and not by themselves. Unless they are supported by the media of the vital fluid, it won't reach, it won't do the job.
I think this is a matter
the sperm also has energy. Sperm also has energy. Seminal fluid also has energy.
But that is less vital than the fluid, the ojas field.
No. The sperm has more energy. The sperm has more energy than the fluid. Fluid facilitates the movement for swimming. But the sperm has to swim on its own. It doesn't take the energy from the seminal fluid. If I'm correct, Ananda should come in and say. But I feel the sperm swims on its own. But the seminal fluid facilitates.
If it is on its own, when
So that cannot,
the
seminal fluid does not give the energy to the sperm, or it does not contain more energy. That's my view.
I'm telling vital fluid, the sexual vital fluid, or as we have agreed, or the Ojas energy. So this energy is responsible for the movement of the energy is taken from this fluid. The sperm takes the energy from this fluid and moves.
Sir,
Where is that fluid? Where is that fluid, Rabi?
That
Sperm takes
fluid,
energy. Where is
since it
that
is,
fluid? Huh?
this is the media in which the sperms are deposited.
and where is that coming from, sir? It's coming from
It is coming from, since it is energy, it is present throughout the body, more so concentrated in the spinning system of the body. The seventh thadu has more. The genetic center has the highest density and the highest
Rabi, we've been saying the
accumulation.
same thing, Rabi, all along. We've
Now,
been
வேற என்ன
saying the
சொல்ல
same
முடியாது.
thing.
Truth is one. I have to repeat the same
No,
until
we
it
are
is
also saying the
understood.
same thing. I'm saying we are also saying the same thing.
என்ன சொல்றீங்க?
நாங்க என்ன சொல்றோம், இந்த எனர்ஜி அங்கிருந்து காஸ்மிக் எனர்ஜி வருது, நமக்கு வந்து மூச்சு வழியா நேரடியாகவும் எடுக்கிறோம், ஸ்கின் வழியா எடுக்கிறோம். பிளான்ட்ஸ் வந்து அதை அப்சர்வ் பண்ணி அதுக்கு சன்னோட எனர்ஜி எல்லாத்தையுமே எடுத்து they make it into chemical components and gives it to us. We digest it and then the rasa, the essence comes from the food. And the essence contains
the cycle,
again the prana, again the energy எல்லாமே இருக்கு. So the plasma is present everywhere in the body. So that plasma is the carrier of the ojas or energy, everything. And from there, over a system of formative tissues, dhatu is the formative tissue. It forms blood, it forms muscle, it forms bone, it forms marrow, everything it forms. After that, the pure energy is left as ojas. So that is what we've been saying. So seminal Shukra Dhatu also is for tissue. So that's why I said anatomically it forms all the male reproductive and female reproductive structures, tissues, and functionally it produces the hormones sperm and ovum. So
if you say Sukratadu is a tissue.
No, Shukratadu has two parts. One is anatomical, one is functional. So for Sukratadu, anatomically, I'll show you the slide.
So, no. I agree with you. The anatomical part is the sperm and the ovum. The energy part is the vital fluid or ojas.
So anatomically, it is here. So anatomically, in female, it's the ovary, uterus, and all those things. In the male, it is the testes, prostate, and bulbourethral things. And physiologically, it is succulum and shronitum. Succulum, I think it. I'm not very sure, but I thought it can eat with the hormones, semen, sperm. In females, it is the hormones, vaginal cervical secretion, and the ovum, and even menstrual blood. You can have it.
So these are all the hormones, semen, sperm, and the shronitum hormones. All are evolved from the energy, and that is the ojas energy or vital energy, vital fluid.
எல்லாமே ஒண்ணுதான் ரபி.
ஒண்ணுதான் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா இல்ல, ஒண்ணுதான் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா
எல்லாமே ஒண்ணுதான்.
If you don't equate with the semen or succulum or shronitum with the vital fluid or the ojas energy, the problem is over.
I have done my best, but I don't know how to convince you. I want others so that they are convinced.
So the majority is something which should not be the rule here.
No, not majority. Okay. I am not able to convince you, but others, I want to know whether they can convince you. So.
Okay,
Madam,
okay.
Here I'm coming. Madam, I'd like to say, it is not convincing each other. What he is saying in a different format, you are saying in a different format. At the end of the day, both are saying the same concept in a different way.
In different format.
That's it. There is not convincing each other. Okay. It is a format of expression is different, but the aim of the expression is the same.
Yes. That's
The
why
format of
I called to
expression
put
varies.
and give a correct consensus on this.
So if you have differences of opinion, difference in the theory or in the principle, we can argue and come to a conclusion. If we are taking the same principle and arguing against, then there is no end.
I think what you said is right. Same principle arguing in a different format.
Yeah.
As long as we are clear, sir, SPF is not just seminal fluid.
Oh, right. SPF is not sperm.
Sir,
and
not
here, if you see the previous slide, the anatomically, to say that it is a ovary, testis, uterus, prostate, we cannot say that this is not the expression that is required.
See, when you say dhatu can be a muscle, dhatu can be a fat, dhatu can be a bone, why can't it be a uterus and testis and ovary and testis?
We don't call it a bone a vital fluid. We don't call a muscle a vital fluid.
Here also, we are not
though it has come from that, the words are specific and it is to be used in that way. So please don't call the ovary, uterus, testis, prostate as vital fluid.
No, we are not calling it, we are calling it dhatu. We are not calling it vital fluid. It's a dhatu. From there, the vital fluid.
You said that Shukra Dhatu has two parts, anatomical anatomical and functional.
Dhatu means formative tissue. So it is the blood, bone, everything is a formative tissue of the body.
In the crude form,
way, in the generative tissue is ovary, testis, uterus, prostate, and all that. And functional aspect is the secretions. So that's what I said. This is, and the functional aspect is the succulum and shronitam.
When you say that it is uterus, prostate, penis, all these things, seminal vesicle, all these things as the Sukratadu, then the confusion is there. That is how these can produce the life force, how these can produce. The vital fluid is the source of, is the factor which retains the life force particles within the body. Otherwise, it is very difficult to hold these nano size life force particles within the body without any capsule, without any container.
Okay.
You cannot have a container. You cannot have a container for life force. And life force is with the individuals right from birth to death without leaving the individual. Why? How? It is because of the ojas or vital fluid, which is retaining it. And this retention of the life force is essential for the production of magnetism. Life force only gives magnetism. So this is all well net presentation for the body. Unless you have the vital fluid at the genetic center, we cannot have the ability to retain. The vital fluid at the genetic center gives power to the body.
Okay, Ravi, I ask you one question. You say
yes,
the marrow produces the semen, is it?
Not marrow produces. No.
The semen and the
marrow produces.
Sperm, how does the semen, sperm, and ova are formed? I want to know from where.
This is well known anatomy. The ovum is produced in the ovary. The sperm is produced in the testis.
Yeah, that is Shukra Dhatu. Anatomically, that is Shukra
If you say, why you said you are not including other dhatus, that shuklam is having a different qualities from rest of the 6 dhadus. If you bring in the same the compounds of dhadus, you don't have a you don't have a dhatu, you don't have a cell in the center of the genetic center, in the place where this is. This I have shown you the architecture of the so many vegetables which have 3 bodies, how they are presenting, what is common in all the vegetables and fruits. The central canal is there, preserved.
We are going out of the way, I think. Dhatu is a formative tissue. See, blood is there, muscle is there, fat is there. They are all physical structures. So same way, there is a physical structure which produces the sperm, ova, and seminal fluid and all that. So
they all hold good up to the level of marrow. The 6 dhadus holds good for all this thing. See, the 7th dhatu is... I have
not given a thought into this, but I have given my opinion. Of course, it's for others to take it or delete it. That's all.
No, when we take the biomagnetic body, the biomagnetic waves, what is the...
Now we are talking about the physical aspects, Rabi. Please talk about the physical aspects here, not the biomagnetic aspects. Biomagnetism is energy. We have agreed it's energy. And we say Ojas is energy. We have agreed on all that. But what about the physical expression? That is what we are talking here.
The physical expression is the human body.
That's
we are not talking about the body.
We have to talk about the human body anatomically and physiologically.
We narrow down to the Sabda Dhadus. And when you come to the bone, which is so solid, strong, forming the scaffold for the human body. And within that, you get the marrow.
Yes, Rabi, but will all the other doctors agree that bones are formed from fat? Will you agree that marrow is formed from bone?
For which you have given the solution today, that is the juice, blood contains everything.
Yeah, and
it is evolving from there. But even at that stage, the fat element is concentrated in the bone, which becomes solid by the chemical combinations. The addition of what Maharishi has told in his language, that is the fat when added with calcium becomes bone.
Sir,
yes.
Sir, I think
we have to wind up.
There is more in common. There is more that we have arrived at a common place than there are differences, sir.
So I think because of the time, we will end at this stage and continue. Let us not proceed any further without solving this, without getting a consensus opinion on this. If that is arrived, every problem is solved. That we don't have much differences in any other part. Am I right, Dr. JP?
Sir, I feel we don't split physiology, pathology, anatomy, and things. Now, let's focus on spiritual aspect of Kayakalpa very clearly. How uniformly spiritual Ojas force is giving all the areas involving together rather than split anatomical, physiological of reproductive organs and other organs. If you go into each organ physiology and anatomy, we get into arguments. Let us focus on Kayakalpa functional as a whole with all the systems in a uniform way. That is much more easier to accept everybody. When we go into anatomy and physiology of reproductive organs, we get into confusion.
So what we do in the next class, please tell me, sir.
Sir, may I make a proposal, sir? Sir, we need to write it down. We need to write and critically appraise each other's thoughts, sir. Otherwise, we will just keep on going 3 hours, 4 hours. We just keep going around in circles. We need to define what do we understand commonly by SVF, what do we understand commonly by OJS, and Kayakalpa. We have already got various steps, and we just need to put these 2-3 things together to see how the body is maintained in a youthful state and immunity against disease and longevity by doing those 3 exercises, which we also, madam, kindly described it as mudras and pranayama. I think we need to put it together in a paper form, sir. Otherwise, we will never reach a consensus.
Okay. I also agree with that. What, Dr. Devi? It is.
Yes, okay. That's what I said. Even some time
So
back, we have to write down the questions first, and then everybody has to give their answers, and then we'll எல்லாத்தையும் போட்டு ஒரு.
I agree with that as well.
So the questions are, what is fluid? What is a dhatu? What is the difference between the 6 dhadus and the 7th and, as you said it, 8th? So what is the difference between the Sukra dhatu and the rest of the dhadus? And the order of the evolution, the
அதுக்கு வந்து
vital fluid.
அதுக்கு ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் வேண்டாம். அது வந்து நான் இங்க ஒரு இதுக்காக ஒரு எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷனுக்காக இது சொன்னேனே தவிர அது ரொம்ப கான்சென்ட்ரேட் பண்ண வேண்டாம். கான்சென்ட்ரேட் பண்ண வேண்டியது வாட் இஸ் ஜெனடிக் சென்டர், வாட் இஸ் SVF, வாட் இஸ் அந்த அது மட்டும்தான் நம்ம பண்ணணும். அது ரெண்டு கரெக்ட் பண்ணணும்னா.
Madam, you are right. We concentrate on genetic center, SVF, and OJS.
And also, you concentrate on the gametes, sperm and the ovum, and the vital fluid.
Sir, when we go there only we get controversy. We don't want to split that.
So
please, we don't want to split. We don't want to say Kayakalpa is only a reproductive system.
It is not splitting, sir. It is a gross vital statement. I am telling that.
You are saying Kayakalpa is mainly looking at the reproductive system?
No. I don't tell that. That is exactly what I don't want people to understand.
That's
like
what
that
I
way.
like to do that. So that's what I like to do that.
That
as
is
soon as
the,
you put that,
that is the essence of it, sir. That is the essence.
Sir, as soon as you put the reproductive system with the Kayakalpa, all the argument and confusion arises.
It is not only that. Once the management of the World Community Service Center said, let us not discuss more about Kayakalpa. The society is branding us as a sexual oriented, obsessed organization.
That's not right, sir. That's very unfair.
So that is unfair. But the feeding, we have to see that it is not like that. The Kayakalpa is not reproductive exercise.
As the doctors, we avoid that completely reproductive side of it. In the book we are going to write, we totally avoid that controversial topic.
JP sir, but we will be asked, and that is my JP sir, without working through, we cannot jump through this. I think we need to address it, sir.
We cannot avoid.
We will be asked. We put firmly the energy or the OJS, the vital fluid works in every part of the body, including
including the sexual fluids.
Yeah, we should give them explanation. We should not completely shut it up.
So the complete expression is the vital fluid has a role to play in